So let's look at this.
You're not sharing the screen.
I'm not sharing the screen. Thank you. Give me a second. It's coming up. All right, here you go. All right, so yesterday we had an outside day, right? We went up, broke the highs, came back to the balance area, and then rejected it. So when we remember, I said if we break this area, then we're gonna likely come back to that 5830 area, because the day before that was our target and we didn't get there. So I said it wouldn't surprise me if we come back there. Well, we got there, right? And the signal was when we were breaking below this low volume node and holding above. Once we started putting volume, then that was the signal to get short and target this level. Now, after that, we did find some buyers, but we left some single prints here, and during the overnight session we couldn't clean up the single print. So now we're testing again below that high volume node that we're trading at right now, and then we found some buyers at this low volume node. So this is kind of like this is the way I always look at the market, right? Like low volume nodes act as support resistance. Once they break and you get acceptance, meaning you get volume on the other side, then the target should be the next high volume node, which in this case is at 5770. If this area keeps, we keep attempting to break below it and then we bounce, then we are going to come back to the area with most volume, which is kind of what happened just now. We came back to the 5830. So for today, I'm going to be looking at this yesterday's low and the overnight low. So if we stay inside yesterday's range, you can see that the profile is, it's like it's a multi-distribution profile. That's a triple distribution, but you can see that value didn't really shift lower. Most of the volume happened up here. Then we kind of we got a little extended, but there's not really like much acceptance other than during the overnight session. So I'm gonna be looking at that, right? So first thing is we have single prints here at the overnight session, then we have the single prints from yesterday's session. If we are able to come back, clean up the single prints, then trade through this volume, which is not gonna be that easy, right? But if we do get above the overnight high, then I'm gonna target long to clean up the single prints. But at this point, I'm gonna watch, okay, do we accept in this area or do we reject and then come back and keep moving down? If we accept inside yesterday's value, then I'm gonna target this area right here, which is the area that we broke from, right? So, and it's the top of this middle distribution, so which is at 5925. So basically accepting above this 5895, 5900, targets another 20 points up around the 5925. And then of course above this 5930 area, then if we hold above it, then we target that point of control at 5956 or so. And then again, like I said, below 5800 targets 5770, and then we have these three untested lows back to back and a point of control that was untested from back in the day. So I'm gonna be looking that to this. If this doesn't hold, if the 200 moving average doesn't hold, then I'm going to target this area, the 5740 to 5730. Okay, that's pretty straightforward, but it could take a while to resolve in this area. NQ was tested below the 200. It's now coming back above it. But it looks a little different, right? Because, I mean, we do have some support here. We have this area that I'm gonna be looking at that as the area for, for support. If this doesn't hold, and then we don't come back into value here, then I'm gonna be looking for continuation. And you can see that, for NQ, I mean, it's really, we do have all this, we have some single prints here and some untested references, but then the main area where we have most of the volume for the last year is right here. But that's, it's still kind of far away. So it's, not sure if it's gonna happen today, but move through this could happen pretty easily, right? You see, there's not really like any areas that are strong support, right? Like I would say that this is kind of like a transition area, right? And then below this area right here, below this October low, then we could drop pretty quickly into the 19,100 area. So I'm gonna be watching that NQ together with ES to have a better idea of what this market wants to go, where this market wants to go, because NQ is a little less clear in this area than ES. ES is very clear, right? Below this low volume area, target 5770. So, but NQ is kind of like, what the hell is this, right? This is clear, right? This is a clear target. Here, it's like, I'm gonna be watching that ES. All right, crude yesterday dumped. There was some news from Libya, I believe, and some OPEC stuff. So it traded all the way through the lower side of that range that we had. I remember I mentioned a few days ago that 67, 68 area. So we traded almost to 67, and now, this is when I look at the longer time profile to see if there's anything else I can use as reference. Give me a second. So you can see that the 365-day profile is very thin all the way to, and the low of the range is 62.20. So I would have to look at a different chart for, to get an idea where we could see a bounce, but like, you can clearly see that there's not much interest to trade down here. I mean, it's a commodity, so it's not gonna go to zero unless we have another pandemic, right? But we are kind of like, we're at the low end of the range, so we should see some buyers stepping up soon. If not, that's probably signs that there's much more room to the downside, maybe into the 60s But I'm not an oil expert, so I'm just looking at this chart and where I would see, you know, buyers are gonna step in at some point here because it's cheap oil, right? Okay, so gold. So we got that bounce that I was talking about, and remember I marked this yesterday, this area, and now so we traded above it, then we're not coming back below it. So if we hold above this area, then 29.45 and then 29.53 are the two targets. And then because we're failing to hold below this distribution, I would say that after that, then we're gonna likely attempt new highs if there's no sellers defending this area. All right, what do we have today? So Trump speaking tonight at 9 p.m. talking about tariffs. We have some speakers at 10, 12:30, 2:20, but no major news other than that. So maybe we'll have a rotational market today. All right. Tomorrow we have PMI and employment change, and then on the day after we have jobless claims and NFP on the 7th. All right, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you around.